You're watching the Self-Determination Channel.
Welcome to Just Ask, a video series about being different, being brave, and being you.
Join us for curiosity and connection as self-advocates and community leaders connect through conversation and self-discovery.
Participants are following and acting on advice from Justice Sonia Sotomayor, author of Just Ask. I'm Nathaniel, a self-advocate. I am into movies. I like to work out, but I am also a program director for Arkansas County, and I will be interviewing a community member.
My name is Peter, and I am a community member. I am interested in listening to music and playing guitar and singing. I'm into running and walking. I am into exploring nature and the natural world. I have a big family that I love to spend time with. And I work as a consultant. I do training and consultation around issues related to advocacy and community building and recruiting and keeping paid support staff and a few other things. And I'll be interviewing a self-advocate.
Peter, how do your unique skills or abilities help you give to your community?
I'm pretty out there as an extrovert, as somebody who, let's just say, I don't have much social anxiety. And so that works to my benefit in terms of a comfort level with noticing things, interacting with people pretty easily, feeling a pretty solid sense of I can jump in here and help if there's something that's needed. The thing I have to be careful about is not to jump in too quickly and too often when help is not needed. But I think I'm pretty good with interactions with other people and relationships with people, and so that helps me to be able to like figure out what I have to offer, and then figure out when is the right time to be able to offer that.
What are some of the challenges you experience in your everyday life?
Learning how to better practice being truly present with other people. I show up and I'm physically present, but I sometimes struggle with my mind wandering a bit and losing track of, really why I'm here or who I'm with or what I'm, what I should be doing. It doesn't, that's not something that's a chronic issue that gets me in trouble very much, but it is something that it's a challenge for me where I have to work on practicing mindfulness and I have to work on paying better attention. That's one thing. Actually, a tendency to think of myself sometimes before other people. I've also worked over many years of faking that. And so it comes across sometimes like I'm thinking of other people, but I'm really thinking about what's in this for me. And so I try to be more aware of that and do something positive about that, and really take a back seat when I can, practice taking the back seat.
What tools do you use to overcome them? And what motivates you or gives you strength?
I do a lot of prayer and meditation. I think that's been helping me a lot over the last few years, especially. But I'm also surrounded by people who care enough about me and relationships with me to call me on stuff and to be honest with me. What motivates me or gives me strength? I think, again, it's the richness of relationships that I have, some that I've worked really hard to nurture, and others that seem to come just as gifts to me. But I think when I see other people, in fact, this is one of the reasons why I love this book by Justice Sotomayor, appreciating and feeling a great amount of gratitude for the variety and diversity of people in the world and in my own little world. The people that I get to learn from are really what I think motivates me the most.
Lastly, what would you say to others to encourage or inspire them to pursue their dreams?
I would say things like there's no time like the present, and that it's really true. Life is short. That's not just a funny little cliche. I think that's really true. And so I'm working on not putting things off that don't need to be put off and probably shouldn't be put off. And so I encourage other people also to, you got an idea for something, you've got a thought, a question, try not to hesitate. And if you need help, talk to people who you trust and go for it.
Thank you, Peter. I really appreciate your honesty and how you have done advocacy through the eyes of a community member. Thank you.
Hey, Nathaniel, so what are ways that people with disabilities can be included in their communities?
Joining nonprofit organizations, able to go to events, able to be part of the community, first off, because I do think some people with disabilities do not think they're not part of their community. So what does that look like? That looks like going online meetings, online chapters, online organizations, and able to bring that community outlook to the self-advocate, like saying like, I can do this, I can do that, and actually take on leadership positions and able to bring their skill set so they feel like they are an advocate than like a self-advocate.
What are some ways you can support individuals with disabilities in your community?
Listen, do active listening, making sure that, like in my position, I have to realize that when I'm being like the advocate, listening is the crucial part. So they're able to tell their stories. And once they like tell their stories, then we can support them on like if they want to be employed, being like live in the community, everyday life stuff that we take for granted. So paying their own bills, going to the doctor, and able to speak on the, be comfortable to say like, I have this wrong, what do I need to do? Meaning like living an independent life. That's what we can do to support people with disabilities.
Why is it important to ask questions and learn about others' experiences instead of assuming something about a disability?
People with disabilities just want to be like us. Like when I talk to someone, like my friend Richard, when I talk to Richard, I know that that's Richard. I don't even ask his disability. I don't even go down that point, down that road, because if you keep asking questions about disabilities, then you're not respecting the person for who they are. You're kind of baby talking them, and you're not really treating them like an adult. And I'm afraid that is why we have to ask questions, because we have to understand that people with disabilities have the same opportunities for people who do not have disabilities. And they have the complete tools to get an education, be employed, live in the community. Why are we talking down to them? That's not what America's about. So what I'm saying is that how about we ask questions to say, how can we plan this to make sure that you are in control of your life and you're dictating your own life?
Why do you think it's important for people with disabilities to be in the community, to be members of the community?
That's their right. That's the given right, first off. Second off, we have to look at the person instead of the disability. I never, ever self-disclose my disability unless if I really, really have to. Because I want the community to remember me as Nathaniel, not as a person with a disability. Oh, he has this or he has that. No. We have to understand that people with disabilities have the same capabilities as a person that doesn't have disabilities. And we have to value that. And we have to give them opportunities so they can show their skills at a high level.
What do you think the community, including individual members in our communities, regular citizens of our communities, just everybody that makes up a community, what do you think the community can learn from people with disabilities?
Dignity at risk, give them chances, let them fail, and then you'll see what kind of skill set people with disabilities have. And then they can learn from those mistakes and actually take on leadership roles and talk to their senators. And it's like in the Just Ask book, talking about like just like little like mowing your grass or just little activities like that. Give them opportunities to let them learn, but let them fail as a person with a disability. And I think that would be the right direction because everybody fails in life. And I think the failing part is harder to overcome with a person with a disability because, oh, they're going to do it again and they're going to do it again. But we have to give them the resources so they won't do it again. And they'll be able to take on that job and that skill set to become a better worker, a better leader, and give them the rights that people without disabilities, the opportunities to live life to the fullest. Thank you for coming today, Peter, and I appreciate your point of view.
Thanks, Nathaniel. I appreciate being with you and getting to talk with you a little bit about this. And I think it's so important that we take the time to get to know each other and to go towards people who we might think are different from ourselves, but find that there's not really much difference. When you think about it, the differences are to be celebrated, and also so is what we all have in common with each other as fellow human beings. So I appreciate the chance to think about this with you. So thank you.
It's important to ask questions and learn about others' experiences instead of assuming their disability because everyone's situation is different.
Guessing can lead to misunderstandings, can lead to stereotypes, or even unintentional harm. By asking and listening, we show respect, we build understanding, we create a more inclusive environment where people feel valued for who they are.
What did you think about today's conversation? Please share your comments below.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to give us a thumbs up if you liked this video. Please subscribe. We need your support to keep the channel going.